All right, the Buck. So Orlando Pirates has done something that is so unlike them. Orlando Pirates have announced a signing. They've announced the signing of Deano van Rooyen from Stellenbosch FC. If you don't know about him, he's a right back. He comes from Stellenbosch, from that area. He's one of those players that have played for one club for the longest of time. I think he played for them for around 8 years, just gone through sort of the ranks. Not really. I don't think he comes from their development structure. I think he started playing as a 19-year-old in that club, was without a recognized club before then. But some of you might have, the better knowledge as regards his background, where he came from before he joined Stellenbosch. But I know he joined them in 2019. I think he joins them, no, sorry, not in 2019. He joins them as a 19-year-old. That might have been 2016, in fact. So I think he joined them in 2016 and then started playing for them in lower divisions, got promoted with Stellenbosch. I think played with them for 3 years before they got promoted into the PSL, into the Betway Premiership, and then has sort of just grown into this captain for them. And yeah, now he's been signed by Orlando Pirates. And I mean, I've been on this platform talking a lot about the right back situation. There are some players that I've asked for Orlando Pirates to sign, certain players stylistically. If you think about what kind of player we have at Orlando Pirates and what kind of player that should come in at Orlando Pirates, I was excited by the possibility of Orlando Pirates signing Keegan Johannes in terms of the kind of player that he was. I've been on here vouching for someone like Keanu Cupido, who's a centre-back who can play at right back and that sort of player. But after all was said and done by me and other people, the club has signed Deano van Rooyen. Now, important, worth noting that this is a very highly rated player in the Premier Soccer League. He's someone that, clubs all around the league will have looked at least to say, if we can have Deano van Rooyen at our club, we'll have one of the best right backs in the country, in all fairness. Now, obviously, it's more complicated than that. You don't just go get a player because he's one of the best. You do look at what you have in your club and then go out to say, okay, do we need that player or not? Right? A lot of good players playing all around the league, but are not at Pirates or Sundowns, the top two teams in the league, because of other players that are in the club already, that play in that position and the needs of the club and that sort of thing. Now, you obviously don't need me to say that, but I think it's important to say, just to set up kind of where I want to go with this show, because I've been thinking hard as to why Orlando Pirates went for him, and I want us to think about these things together. And where I want to start is, I think the kind of player we get in, Deano van Rooyen, I can sum it up into two things. I think we are getting, firstly, someone who's got a great mentality. I think he's got a very good mentality. He's obviously the captain at Stellenbosch. He's the one that's rallying the troops. The Stellenbosch that we've recently seen that has gone on to some success for them. They won the Culling knockout and even just their competitiveness in the league. He's the leader of that pack. He's the leader of that group. So you're getting someone who's a leader of men, and he's coming to join a lot of leader of men at Orlando Pirates, which is great, which is awesome. You can never have enough leaders in your club. So we're getting that, but also we are getting someone who's more complete than what we have. Now, something I've been thinking about is that, in the last 2 years or so, Orlando Pirates have gone through something like 6 right backs. Or rather, let me put it this way, 6 players have played in that right back position for Orlando Pirates in the last 2 years. And that's a crazy number. If you think about the fact that right back, unlike centre back or central midfielder, only one player plays at right back at a time. And if you're going to go through 6 players that I can think of anyway, in the span of 2 years or 2 seasons, that's a lot of people playing in one position. It definitely says that you haven't found someone who's mainstay in that position. I mean, we've had Shandu play in that position. We've had Paseka Mako play at right back. We've had Thabiso Lebitso play recently. We've had Thabiso Munyane play. We've even had Fortune Makaringe play there. I might be forgetting someone. If I am, just remind me. Or maybe actually I thought Deano van Rooyen will be the 6th player that Orlando Pirates will be bringing in for that position. And it just says to us that we haven't settled on someone. Now, Thabiso Lebitso obviously is someone who has promised lately to be someone who can come in there and sort of solidify that right back position, especially even going forward when you compare him to Thabiso Munyane, who has deficiencies here or there. But even Thabiso Lebitso himself, when you think about him, he's got a lot to offer us going forward, but he's maybe got a deficiency when it comes to, his defending, and maybe by no fault of his own, because he's someone who's been converted from being a right winger into being a right back. Now that's where Deano van Rooyen comes in for Orlando Pirates, in that he's more of a complete right back. He's more of a orthodox right back, in that we've got so many of our right backs are good going forward. Even if they're not good, whether or not you think they're good going forward, but their trade is going forward anyway. So you think about Thabiso Lebitso, he's someone who just wants to go forward, but has been used in a more defensive role, which is not his thing. I mean, you go back to our last game, I had a conversation around the fact that, Bradley Grobler will have thought, I'm going to go pin myself on Thabiso Munyane because he's definitely not a very good defender. And I say that with due respect, because he does put in a shift and does do, the minimum requirement, Thabiso Lebitso, his job when he's given that right back position of staying there and being that orthodox right back who's going to give us cover when we want to attack with our left back. He does a decent enough job. But I think when you're bringing in Deano van Rooyen, you are then taking that up a notch, where you're not only bringing in a right back who can do a job, but you're bringing possibly one of the best right backs in the league at doing that job. And yet, to him, there's more than just that. He's also very good at going forward. He's good at defending, and he's also good at going forward. And I think with him, it's just the case, Deano van Rooyen, of bringing in someone who's an improvement in possibly every regard to what we already have at the club. Because the conversation with us Buccaneers has been, this is a redundant signing. If we're going to bring anyone at Orlando Pirates, because we've already got wing backs, we have to bring someone who's going to be a traditional right back. But I think the luxury that Deano van Rooyen offers you is that if you want to use him as an offensive right back, you can. If you want to use him as a sort of reserved kind of right back or conservative right back, you can as well. And I think that's the excitement with this signing, is that he's just an improvement to what already is at Orlando Pirates, and maybe even bringing another dimension a little bit, in the sense of a more conventional fullback for us. And yeah, that is the excitement for me, and I think that's the excitement for a lot of people. Now, obviously, he's coming in as a 27-year-old, going on 28 this year, given that, typical Orlando Pirates 3-year contract with the option of 2 more, which will see him stay up to like 32, 33 if he sees out all of his contract. And I think that's a good age. Most people think that 27, you are at your peak. I think, if anything, the way that I think of it is that, especially for South African players, having watched the South African league over the years, is that actually players do mature around 30 and 31. I think what he definitely is probably at his physical peak. So if you think about his physical attributes, his pace, maybe his recovery pace, his fitness, that sort of thing, he's maybe at his peak. But I do think that coming from Stellenbosch to Orlando Pirates, to a rather more star-studded Orlando Pirates, I think he's going to even go up a notch. He's going to still improve. That's what I think sort of as a response to this thing that he's already at the height of his ability. I think he's not. I think he's going to come to Orlando Pirates. He's going to learn a thing or two playing with much better players. Even in a pressure environment. I don't think he's played in a high pressure environment, so that's even a thing for him to learn there. So I don't think he's at his peak, maybe at his physical peak. I think he's still going to improve coming to Orlando Pirates, which is exciting. But you're also not getting someone who's got a lot to learn. You're getting someone who's ready to come in and be the first name at right back for Orlando Pirates, which is the exciting part of all of this. And I'm excited for Deano van Rooyen. There's a conversation to be had with regards to, so what happens to the right backs that are at Orlando Pirates? Now, I don't foresee, as many have said, people have said that, so we're going to see Thabiso Munyane go out. I actually don't think that's what's going to happen, especially thinking about the long injury list that we've got at right back. I know Thabiso Libito is going to be out for some time, with his lengthy injury. We've got Shandu, who's going to be out for some time with his lengthy injury as well. So what I'm foreseeing happening at right back at the moment is Orlando Pirates probably will stay put. I don't think they're going to register Shandu or one of Shandu or Libito, depending how long their injury is. I don't think they're going to register them for this first period of the Betway Premiership. I don't think they're going to register, obviously, Deano van Rooyen and Thabiso Munyane and leave out one or both of Shandu and Libito. And then I think it's going to be a case of, come January, then Orlando Pirates will be thinking, hey, we need to offload, provided they're back, from the injury, Shandu and Libito. Then I think Orlando Pirates will start thinking, okay, we're obviously not going to have fit players that are not registered. I don't think any of them would like to stay at the club not registered to play in the DStv Premiership. Sorry, in the Betway Premiership. That's going to take some getting used to. But and then that'll be then the conversation to say, with more information, with having seen Deano van Rooyen some more, maybe taking into consideration interest, maybe someone being disgruntled, upset at not playing, those sort of things. And then I think from January, that's where the conversation of who's going to be offloaded at right back. Is it going to be Munyane? Is it going to be Shandu? Or is it going to be Libito, who I think Libito maybe is safe in that regard for time being, because he's a very recent signing as well. So I think then the conversation is going to be had whether or not, Munyane goes out on loan or Shandu gets sold, right? But I think for the time being, we're not going to see any movement at right back. I'm willing to bet that Orlando Pirates is going to keep Thabiso Munyane, which is good. He's going to be the deputy to Deano van Rooyen, most likely. And we might see some transfer business at right back, maybe from January or maybe even later on at the end of this upcoming season. But that's my take. Sort of in closing, very excited for Deano van Rooyen coming to Orlando Pirates. I think we're going to see a more complete player. Even a more mentality sort of leader of men coming into the club. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video from Talking Buccaneers. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all our future content.